Okay, we're going to go ahead and start. Again, welcome to today's webinar, which is on the decorator matrix or decorator methods. And this just gives you that ability to put in your decorators and their imprint price sheets as far as quantity breaks and pricing for run charges and setups. Then you can bring those into either a quotation, presentation, or sales order. So we'll start here. I am recording, so you can view this at your convenience. Okay, so I'm actually logged into our vision system, and the first place I'm going to go to get in the various decorators is it's kind of a two-step process. The first step is to come into contacts. And on that, or in that contacts drop down, you have vendors, and this is your vendor database. And we have set vendors that have signed up with Trade Only, and they provide us with the product data, and that data is given to you within your vision system. But if you have vendors that you want to add in with any unique products or services, and we look at decoration as a service, then you would be able to put those vendors into your vision system. To add a vendor to the vendor database, you just simply come into the third down here called Create New, and you just click on Create New. And this is going to allow you to select vendor and then add in the vendor information. So the first step of the decorator methods is to actually put in the vendor that will be doing that decoration. And a phone number. And you will need an address, especially the city and the state. Okay, so we've gone ahead and put in that information. If we hit save, that will add that vendor to the vendor database. And it will open a vendor record. So you can see here's the vendor record that was opened up. And if you want to add additional information to that record, you can do so. You just can pop over to the contact info tab and add in any contacts that you might have for that decorator, any additional addresses, payment info, notes that you might have for that decorator as well, and activities. Now, activities will be any purchase orders that have been sent to that vendor will be held in this activities area. So any calendar events, but especially any projects, purchase orders, or files that have been uploaded to a project and sent out to that vendor. They will all be pulled into this vendor record for that specific vendor. Okay, so once we go ahead and we add in the vendor, and we'll take a look now at our vendor database, and we can just search Peyton Printing, and we can see right there is Peyton Printing, so it has been added and it's listed as my vendor. Now again, you will need to maintain the data for this vendor. It's not going to be something that we can maintain for you. So any vendors added to the system, you will need to make sure that the address, phone number, or contact information is correct. So the second step in the decorator methods is to actually go in and set up that decoration matrix with any setup charges, any run charges. So basically your quantity breaks and the price sheet that's usually provided by that vendor. So to do that, we're going to go up into settings, which is the admin area of your vision system. So we'll go into settings. And under settings, you have a different navigation toolbar. So we're going to want to go to System, and we're going to go to Decoration Methods. And you can see I have several different decorators with their cost and their pricing associated with them in here. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a new method, and that's going to be we're just going to do that by going into this last line here, and you see there's an empty space. So the first thing I'm going to do is description. And I'm going to show you two methods, we're going to enter a screen, and then we're also going to talk about embroidery, how that can be handled. So the description shows up on the quote or the sales order. So we want to make sure that the description typically doesn't have the vendor's name in it. So what I'm just basically going to say, and you could say like screen printing gold package or platinum package. You might have different price points or packages available. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to do screen printing option B. The next one is the actual print description. And when you put your cursor in that area, it does pull up a drop down that you can choose the print description. So in our case, what we're going to do is that screen print. So I'm just going to select screen print right there. The next thing I'm going to do is come in and click on this NA and actually select the supplier that will be doing this decoration. So I'll click on NA. That will pull up my vendor database, and as I mentioned, we can come in here and we can search. We'll search that Peyton. So we'll select Peyton Printing by just highlighting the entry and hitting select. So that will bring Peyton Printing in as the supplier. Now with screen, you'll see these two columns, the cost and the sell. And you'll see the word multi right there. And that just lets you click in. So if I click on the link multi, or the word multi, it opens up a kind of a grid. And this grid is going to allow you to put your minimum quantity. So we're going to start with just one. So we'll do, or, we're not going to do one. Let's start with 10. And then these are not columns, these are colors. So it's referring to the color that is going to be screen printed. So this is the run charge. So we're going to do a minimum quantity 10, and the cost is going to be 10 cents, and we're going to sell it at a run of 20 cents. So that's a one color. Now if a one color was inclusive, then you would just basically just leave that as 0. Then we're going to do a two color. So if we do a two color, we'll type in 20 and tab and sell it at 30 and so forth. So I'll do 30, sell it at 40. Okay, so you can do all the way up to 8 colors. Now, once you get to this plus, if I hit the plus button, that opens up another row for me to do my next quantity. So my first quantity break is 10, so my next one I'm going to say 25. And then I can say, okay, well maybe that's just 5 cents. Okay, so we're doing up to 4 colors. Then if we scroll over a little bit, we can just do one more row, hit the plus button, and we enter our next quantity break. So maybe this is 100. And we can tab through, and we'll do, the first one will be just blank. Or you know what, I think I need to put something in there, so we'll do the 5 cents. Okay, so we've got those in there. So you can see from a screen printing decoration, we're putting our minimum quantities, we're setting those, and then we're setting that run charge. And that's done by clicking on either one of these under the cost or the sell column. It will branch out and open up this additional information. Now, if we go past the sell column and we move over to setup description, we can actually put in the setup charges. So I'm just going to do setup. And why don't we can do a screen setup. And then right here where we want to select the supplier, and it's the same supplier that's doing the run, so we'll just select Peyton Printing again. So we'll highlight that and select, and that brings in Peyton Printing. And a setup is usually a one-time, it's a one-off. So it's we'll just key that in there as $20, and we'll sell it at a $30 setup. Once you've put in everything, your entire matrix, then you're going to go ahead and click the save icon in the far right. So we'll save that. And you can see that it's added to the actual last page. So if we go next and we go to page 5, we should see that screen print option. Let's see. Well, it should be on the very last page. So there we go. So here's screen printing option B that we put in, and you can see Peyton Printing, and it's got multi. If we click on that, it will branch out and we can see what we put in there. Okay. So that's one way of doing it. Now the other way is we can talk about embroidery. Embroidery is not really based on the colors that are included in like screen printing is. Embroidery is stitches. So what you can do with embroidery is in the description, you would need to add in the description embroidery up to 5,000 stitches. And then your next description or entry would be embroidery additional 1,000 stitches. So that's how you would bring those in. So we'll do one there as well. So what we'll do is, let's go to the previous page here. We'll go to the very beginning. So we're on page 1. And then we'll go down here again to the very bottom where you see that opening. And now what we're going to do is embroidery. And I'm just going to do this description as embroidery. Up to 5,000. Okay, so we put that in there. In the drop down, I'm just going to select embroidered. Now, see how it doesn't have multi available. So what we'll do is we'll select the supplier again. It'd be Peyton Printing. So we highlight them and select. It brings them on. And then this is just a one-time charge. So we're going to say, you know, it's $7. And we're going to charge and sell it at $10. Run. And then we could put a setup or a digitization or digitizing. So we could put that in there. Same thing. We're going to select the vendor that's doing that. And then we're going to put in that one-time cost. And when we hit save, that'll save that entry. So if you want to add more, then you would do actually the additional 1,000 stitches and so forth. So up here, or this area here that we've just worked in, that's where you're going to go ahead and put in the basically your decorator matrix. The last step is applying it to an actual quote or sales order. So what we're going to do now is we'll go back to the front end of Vision. So we'll go out of this admin area and click on Vision. And I'm just going to create a project. So we're going to go into Project, New Project. And we'll do Webinar. Okay, so we'll just leave it at new project. The target date we'll leave as today. The customer, we'll just go ahead and type in a customer here. And then in the next button, we'll just go straight to a sales order. Okay, so I'm just going to put a product on my sales order using the clipboard. So I'll go up here to the clipboard, and I'm going to select an apparel item. So maybe we want to go with this sweatshirt. and we hit go, and that's going to bring that onto my sales order. Okay, so we've got that, and now I'm going to just define my colors and sizes for that. And we'll add those. So now we've got our product, and this is a blank good or a wearable, so that's good. And then what we can do now is under decoration methods, you'll see that as I put in various methods, this drop down will populate. So I have decorators that specialize in embroidery, screen, and heat press and pad print already selected in my matrix. But you can come up here, and we'll do a screen print first. So if I hover over screen and I come over to the right, I can then scroll down and look at my suppliers. You can see that I do this quite a bit. And we can pull up Peyton Printing maybe here. So let's see. Actually, it was this one. Oops. Decoration methods, screen, and we'll go down to the very bottom, which is that we labeled it screen printing option B. So I'm going to select that. And now I can choose the location that I want this decoration put on the product, the blank good. So if I select my one position, or if I want to, I could put in center. So we'll scroll down here, inner center front or chest. So we can do that. And then here I can select, because we did screen based on colors, I can go up to a 3-color or 4-color option, 3 colors, and then I can hit save. And you'll see that it will automatically bring in that run charge that we set up, and it will also bring in that setup. And it's going to multiply that setup by 3 because we have a 3-color. So it's 3 setups for a 3-color, and then we have the run charge. So those are brought in automatically into the sales order. So that's pretty much how the decoration methods and matrix works within Vision. We also have it available on store, so you can set that up on the back of your websites, and there'll be a separate webinar on how to do that. So I can take some questions at this time if you have any questions. Okay, don't see any questions. Thank you very much for attending today's webinar, and I hope to see you on many more. Have a great day.